Hello and welcome to UGC Pathshala. I am Dr. Swikar Lama, Assistant Professor in Criminology and Police Studies at Sardar Patel University of Police, Security and Criminal Justice, Jodhpur. I am going to present the module on the role of police in maintenance of internal security and crime prevention. The learning outcomes of this module are to make the learners understand the various concepts of crime prevention, to make the learners understand various methods of crime prevention, to make the learners understand the issues related to internal security, and to make the learners understand the role of police in maintaining the internal security and crime prevention. Instability of social states, law and order disturbances to extreme aggression, communal riots and other extremist acts are not new in Indian perspective. India's current scenario regarding internal security is alarming the necessary and strategic solutions. Devastating terrorist attacks of 26th and 28th November 2008 in Mumbai and many more cannot be sidelined. Last year, the Pathankot Air Base attack questioned the strategies, tactics and management of intelligence regarding the internal security in the country. The multitude of security threats India faces, Islamist terrorism, left-wing extremism, communal violence, ethnic violence, espionage, secession movements, border security on the 6 international borders and drug trafficking, to name a few, necessitates an effective and coordinated mechanism designed to deal with related issues and situations on the homeland. The Ministry of Home Affairs is the primary federal agency tasked with the maintenance of internal security in India. The Department of Internal Security within the ministry is responsible for carrying out the mandate. The department works in close coordination with the Department of State's, Department of Home, Department of Jammu and Kashmir Affairs and the Department of Border Management, all within the Ministry of Home Affairs in the wake of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks and the seemingly endless Naxalite insurgency. The Ministry of Home Affairs and consequently the Department of Internal Security have come under increasing media and public scrutiny and pressure to undertake reforms to enhance its effectiveness. Now, what is internal security? Internal security, on the other hand, can be defined as an security against threats faced by a country within its national borders, either caused by inner political turmoil or provoked, prompted or proxied by an enemy country, perpetrated even by such groups that use a falling or weak state, causing insurgency, terrorism or any other subversive acts that target innocent citizens, cause animosity between and amongst groups of citizens and communities intended to cause or causing violence, destroy or attempt to destroy public and private establishments. Internal security is the act of keeping peace within the borders of a sovereign state or other self-governing territories, generally by upholding the national law and defending against internal security threats. Responsibility for internal security may range from police to paramilitary forces and in exceptional circumstances the military itself. Threats to the general peace may range from low-level civil disorder, large-scale violence or even an armed insurgency. Threats to internal security may be directed at either the state citizens or the organs and infrastructure of the state itself and may range from petty crimes, serious organized crimes, political industrial unrest or even domestic terrorism. Foreign powers may also act as a threat to internal security by either committing or sponsoring terrorism or rebellion without actually declaring war. Now, what is crime prevention? Crime prevention is the anticipation, recognition and appraisal of a crime risk and the initiation of some action to remove or reduce the risk. And also, as per definition of crime prevention defined on the official website of New York State Police can be stated as crime prevention is the anticipation, recognition and appraisal of a crime risk and the initiation of action to remove or reduce it. Crime prevention is an active approach utilizing public awareness and preventive measures to reduce crime. Crime prevention reflects a philosophy of self-defense where the police and the community take action before crimes are committed. Crime prevention's program will reduce crime, stimulate public awareness concerning crime prevention and enhance our communities to some extent. Crime prevention works. It is cheaper, safe and healthier for communities to prevent crime than to have to treat its victims, deal with the perpetrators and lose civic health and productivity. But the responsibility of crime prevention doesn't fall on one person, it's everyone's business. Law enforcement agencies, however, are often the focal point in community crime prevention. This can be beneficial to prevention efforts because these law enforcement officers know what crime is happening, where it is happening and by whom, have the expertise to stop crime before it happens, and they can bring community members, police, departments and government officials together. The work of crime prevention personnel is crucial to the law enforcement agency's success in involving its officers, other government agencies and the community in anti-crime efforts. This is a critically important aspect of policing. Assuming that the Chief of Police or DGP, Director General of Police, is committed to having other agencies and the community involved in efforts to prevent crime and believes that crime prevention and control are the responsibility of various interests within the community, not just law enforcement, the assignment of personnel to the crime prevention unit should be considered one of the most important decisions of the law enforcement executive. Consequently, the crime prevention unit must be staffed at a level that reflects the significance of the mission of the agency. Every law enforcement agency should designate one employee as supervisor of the crime prevention unit. The supervisor should be responsible for directing all aspects of the crime prevention unit and should represent the interests of this unit to the Chief Executive Officer and his commanding staff. Job descriptions for crime prevention personnel should be prepared and fully understood by those assigned to crime prevention. Crime prevention personnel should possess effective planning and communication skills and should be capable of motivating and directing others. Law enforcement agencies should give consideration to qualified civilians as well as sworn officers when filling vacancies within the crime prevention unit. Crime prevention personnel should be provided appropriate training in methods to reduce or remove the opportunity for crime. Crime prevention personnel should attend advanced or specialized courses designed to strengthen their crime prevention skills in physical security, SEPTED management and coalition building. Crime prevention should be a line item in the law enforcement budget. Every law enforcement agency should consider using a cadre of volunteers to assist in the delivery of crime prevention services. Every law enforcement agency should prepare comprehensive crime prevention policies and procedures. Now, we will discuss about the collection of intelligence. The civil system for collecting, evaluating, analyzing, integrating and interpreting information concerning the security of India in the mid-1980s was operated by the police under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It was an enlarged outgrowth of the British system that in colonial days was used primarily against nationalists. In conjunction with the civil intelligence system, a joint intelligence unit for handling military intelligence, Joint Chiefs of Staff was created after independence. Prior to 1962, most of the attempts to coordinate the activities of these overlapping branches apparently failed, and high policy planners continued to rely heavily on civil intelligence units for strategic information. However, the Chinese attack in 1962 underlined the defects of the intelligence system, and along with other security units, it was given serious re-evaluation. Shortly after, the Office of Director General of Security was established in the Prime Minister's Secretariat as a centralized coordinating agency for political and military intelligence, and by the mid-1960s, a recommendation was made that a new intelligence system be re-established to remove the police from the processing of strategic intelligence, for which they were said to be unsuited. In India, a number of intelligence, military and police organizations fight against the terrorism activities. For intelligence, we have Research and Analysis Wing (RAW) that acts as the external intelligence agency. Intelligence Bureau, or division of the Home Affairs Ministry, collects intelligence within India. After the 26/11 attack, government has formed various other agencies like NIA, NATGRID, MAC and NCTC for fighting against terrorism. We will now discuss about various bodies in India formed to fight terrorism. National Security Guard (NSG). Following the Operation Blue Star in 1984, the National Security Guard (NSG) was created as a special commando force for combating against terrorist activities. NSG personnel are also referred as Black Cat Commandos. The NSGs are trained to counter hijacking operations and terrorist operations. After 26/11 attack, 4 NSG regional hubs are created at Kolkata, Hyderabad, Chennai and Mumbai. National Investigation Agency (NIA), it is a federal agency set up by India to combat terrorism. It was created in December 2008 after Mumbai terror attacks in November 2008 with concurrent jurisdiction power. It is empowered to investigate and prosecute offences under the acts specified in the schedule of the NIA Act. Any state government can request union government to hand over the investigation of case to NIA. If the case is registered as per the offence mentioned in schedule of NIA Act, union government can also hand over any scheduled offence anywhere in the India. The central government is empowered to decide the jurisdiction of these courts. These are presided over by a judge appointed by the central government. The recommendation of the Chief Justice of the High Court with jurisdiction in that region. The main offences dealt by NIA are bomb blasts, human trafficking, hijacking of ships and aircrafts, counterfeit currency, narcotics, etc. National Intelligence Grid now. NATGRID. NATGRID is a robust intelligence gathering mechanism to track any suspected terror attack. All the databases of government departments are linked in a grid to collect comprehensive patterns or intelligence that can be readily accessed by intelligence agencies like RAW, IB, ED, CBC, etc. The information collected includes tax and bank account details, credit card transactions, visa and immigration records and rail and air travel details, etc. It is not only yet fully operationalized. The Modi government has finally decided to revitalize and reinfuse the NATGRID, a brainchild of a former Union Home Minister P. Chidambaram. It was constituted in the aftermath of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks to act as a preventive mechanism by collating and analyzing vital data and predict possible attacks. Conceived in 2010-2011 and to be implemented in 4 phases called Horizon 1 to Horizon 4, the NATGRID has not been able to complete even Horizon 1 by May 2015, though it was supposed to operationalize both Horizon 1 and 2 by 2014 at a cost of Rs 1100 crores instead of a stand-alone institution that was to be placed under an overarching umbrella of the National Counter-Terrorism Center (NCTC), shelved subsequently amidst stiff opposition from the states. The NATGRID will now be under the overall supervision of the Intelligence Bureau. Once fully functional, NATGRID is supposed to be enabled to all the 11 security and intelligence agencies including RAW, IB, Enforcement Directorate, National Investigation Agency, CBI, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, DRI, Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU and others to process their queries and get results in real time on virtually any individual or entity. Revamping of Multi-Agency Center MAC, which functions under the Intelligence Bureau, is the nodal agency for sharing intelligence inputs. Although it was in place since 2002, it was revamped after 26/11 attacks. Every agency and central police organization has an officer to coordinate with MAC and share intelligence on a daily basis. At the state level also there is an SMAC functioning in a similar manner. Coastal security scheme revamped after 26/11 attacks. The coastal security imperatives have become multi-dimensional and prompt. To strengthen the coastal security, the government has taken several measures. The Coastal Guard was entrusted with the task of guarding the Indian coastline right from the shoreline. The Indian Navy is still responsible for overall maritime security. Coastal states and union territories have been directed to implement the approved coastal security scheme. The coastal states and union territories have been asked to start coastal patrolling by locally hired fishing boats or trawlers. A uniform system for registration of all boats has been put in place. Action is also being taken for issuance of ID cards to all fishermen. National Technician Research Organization NTRO, it is a technical intelligence agency set up in 2004 under the National Security Advisor in the Prime Minister's Office, India. It provides technical intelligence to all other Indian agencies. Now we will discuss the role of police in crime prevention. Prevention of crime is one of the major obligations of police. If crimes are prevented in time, the human rights of the people in general will be protected actually and factually. It is so because the commission of an offence amounts to the violation of one or the other human rights of an individual. If the police are able to prevent crime efficiently, their problems in the context of protection of human rights will reduce substantially. Not only that, their image will improve and the popular estimation of their performance will pass through a positive transformation. Prevention is better than cure. A stitch in time saves 9 and the crime prevented is best investigated are some of the popular dictums signifying the importance of crime prevention and its relevance with reference to the obligation of police leadership in the protection of human rights. That crime should and can be prevented is the basic premise on which each society legislates some provision or other for preventing crimes. By making an effective use of the provisions, the police officials at various levels inter alia will be discharging the obligation of protecting human rights in a gainful and meaningful manner. The mechanisms involving role of police in prevention of crime and preservation of peace and security includes gust and patrolling, including nakabandi, performing picket and ambush jobs, checking vehicles and frisking passengers, surveillance and checking of bad characters, preventive arrests, collection and transmission of criminal intelligence. There are a number of methods, strategies and mechanisms used and utilized by the police for preventing law and order situations and crimes. Various provisions have been made in CRPC, IPC and other special and minor acts which give powers to police to prevent offences and contain law and order situations. Out of the two principal police functions, that is prevention and detection of crime, the prevention work must take precedence over detection. Intimate knowledge of the conditions prevailing in the police station jurisdiction and of the movements and activities of criminals are conditions precedent for successful execution of preventive role of police. To gain such knowledge, an efficient beat system is a primary necessity. Village authorities are primarily responsible for reporting crime and supplying information about the movements of bad characters, but it should be clearly understood that this does not take away the responsibility of the police for gathering information necessary for the effective prevention and detection of crime. For this purpose, the constable should visit villages only under definite orders for a definite purpose and for a specified period. Even the reduction in crime as a more realistic goal can be achieved only by extending crime prevention and control measures beyond the criminal justice system and by building these into a broader social action to curb conditions which produce crime. Such a perspective requires focusing on two major areas: prevention of crime by protecting various vulnerable groups within the framework of social justice and treatment of offenders in a just, fair and equitable manner with due regard to their human rights and on the basis of a differential handling of individuals who violate law under various kinds of situational compulsion vis-a-vis those who perpetrate crime in an organized manner. Police records pertaining to crimes and criminals and the ones maintained at the police stations and various other places with regard to law and order situations play a vital role and assist the police personnel in a meaningful way in the discharge of the duties with regard to prevention of crimes and law and order situations. Police records perform the role of broad database, and on the basis of information available in this database, police officers can devise methods and plan out for keeping check and control on the movements and activities of the criminals, and at the same time can also keep a track on the emerging law and order situations. The information available in the police record would help the police officers in making preventive arrests and evolving other strategies for prevention of crimes and law and order situations. With the advent of computer technology and adoption of computerization at various levels, the record keeping has become more systematic, scientific and organized. A large bulk of records can be maintained by use of computers, and even the retrieval of the desired record is also quick and fast. The computerization of police records thus should be gainfully utilized by the policemen of various ranks for the discharge of their prevention duties. Surveillance is a vital part of preventive action by police. It deters the designs of a person intending to commit offences. The nature and degree of surveillance depends on the circumstances and person whose surveillance is mounted. It is only in very rare cases and on rare occasions that round-the-clock surveillance becomes necessary for a few days or weeks. It is necessary that those who deserve to be kept under close surveillance receive maximum attention. Different categorical approaches for crime prevention, such as crime against children, women, SC and ST minorities, senior citizens, urban and rural crime, have been dealt with in many reports by police commissions. The role of police in prevention of crime against these categories is crucial, and in present day scenario is kept amongst the utmost important areas in functioning of police. Now, to conclude, crime is a multifaceted problem. There is no easy fix. Research and experience have, however, provided us with insights into the nature of crime which can help us fight back. Sanctions against criminals are failing to deter increasing numbers of offenders, and the legal and correctional systems are groaning under the weight of businesses. For their part, citizens are groaning under the burden of costs associated with escalating crime, of more police, of improved court systems, of more goals, of insurance, of locks and bars and grills on their homes, and others. For the individual householder, situational crime prevention is the most effective approach to protecting him or herself from victimization and fear. But this approach has much wider scope. It can be employed by housing authorities to make public housing more secure, by transport authorities to cut down graffiti and vandalism on trains and buses, by education departments trying to battle school arsonists. Strengthening internal security in India is the need of the hour. Many a times it has been observed that when a state government is not able to effectively and tactfully deal with security threats issues, instead of developing and strengthening the local or state police mechanism, it approaches to the center to abandon its roles, duties and responsibility at the prime sign of serious troubles like communal riots, left extremism, insurgencies and many more. The big question is that the problems, instead of getting solved, are becoming more complex and serious. Before strengthening the internal security, it is very important to know the challenges and the extent of seriousness of those challenges. The leading existing and upcoming challenges in connection to internal security involves national and international menace of terrorism, left-wing extremism in most of central India, threats related to communal riots, extreme aggression during intercultural and social agitations, etc., ensuring the safety and security and intelligence management throughout the country, which includes approximately 15,000 kilometers of land borders and the coastline, is very difficult. Ethnic insurgencies in Jammu and Kashmir and in northeast Indian states. Apart from this, other solutions can be made, such as developing effective counter strategies against to possible security challenges and threats. A proactive approach is more demanding than the reactive one. Upgradation and management of intelligence agencies, especially Intelligence Bureau (IB), need to be reviewed time to time. Necessary improvement in the coordination and communication for sharing intelligence amongst the divisions or departments dealing with special crimes such as Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB and others, to break the nexus between terrorism, drug trafficking and organized crime.